EAGLES, Eagles.
Welcome in, everybody, to a Thursday morning edition of Birds 365, back in our normal 8 to 10 a.m. spot for the next couple of days. Johnny Mac, how you doing in this Thursday morning show with training camp officially in the rearview mirror?
Yeah, training camp in a lot of ways, it doesn't, nothing stops. So it's just sort of like that imaginary demarcation line.
Right.
But, in a couple days, Tuesday of next week, you're going to get down to 53, the initial 53 and all the stuff. And you see it around the league, a bunch of trades. I saw 3 trades yesterday.
Yeah,
so,
I saw a couple, yeah.
One of the things about the new breed of GM and how he's sort of at the leadership of this is they're more willing to. Back in the old days, man, nobody traded. It was like a bunch of old crusty guys. We can't do this.
Yeah, right.
Now everybody's like, yeah, well, let's move around, and everybody seems to enjoy it. So I expect a trade or two still coming from the Eagles. I really do. So we'll see how it shakes out. But you can see there's far more GMs willing to do things, and I think that makes things more interesting, more of a baseball feel, more of a, baseball trade deadline feel, more of a NBA trade deadline feel, right, where there's more stuff going on. So I think that makes it more exciting for fans.
I agree. And I think those 2 players that we've talked about, John, on last night's show and earlier this week, just Ringo and Dotson, those are maybe 2 guys who could be floated out, but wouldn't surprise me as well if Howie went, another surprise name. I was surprised to see Thomas Booker traded a couple weeks ago. Not saying it's that crazy, but it was a little surprising. It wouldn't surprise me again if Howie went a different route or kind of moved somebody I wasn't quite expecting.
No, wouldn't surprise me at all. Some of the edge rushers, I say they want an edge rusher coming in. There might be an edge rusher going out if somebody, wants to give something up and they're having some issues. And because that's a very valuable position around the NFL. But
who do you think would be the guy if it was a guy there, like Ojulari?
Ojulari,
yeah, I was thinking.
Yeah. So a bunch of guys under sort of potentially could move. There's a lot of surprising. Yesterday Harrison Phillips was that was a big surprise. So there'll be guys going that that you probably don't think are going. Some of it's salary cap related, some of it's just trying to, gather draft capital for other moves and yada, yada, yada.
Yep. John, with training camp officially done, and before I get into that, I actually just want to welcome and thank everybody for being here this morning already. We appreciate our great crowd this morning. As always, if you're listening live, we appreciate you. Don't forget to hit that like button. It's one of the best things you can do to help this show. All right. And then drop your comments in the live chat. Drop your comments down below. If you're listening after the fact, if you're listening to the podcast, we appreciate all of our great podcast listeners as well. Don't forget to leave a review over there. Help out the show any way you can. We appreciate all of you guys for being here. Quan, Master Eagle, Alfredo, Twiz, Cody, Valenci, Tony C, Daz is in here. Appreciate everybody. Wayne the Pain, what's up, Dan? Appreciate all of you guys. Anybody I missed, I didn't mean to miss you. John, now with training camp in the rearview mirror, how would you kind of describe this training camp as a whole for the Eagles? Was it a success? Was it a failure? Was it a blah? How would you kind of describe the training camp at large?
Yeah. Well, blah is a good word. I said, it's just, one of those things where they're very established. So there's not a lot of questions. I would say the questions there are on defense are probably not gone to the way they would have liked. Obviously, forget about, the fact that they already went outside the organization to try to find a cornerback tells you all you need to know about that competition. I think there's some positive, not some positive, a lot of positive with Jahad Campbell, because we all thought that he would start later in the process. Now it looks like he's going to be a week 1 starter. So that's a positive in that competition. Safety, I think it's a little negative from the standpoint of, obviously they want Drew Makuba to do it. You had the splashy plays in the second preseason game, but he's hurt again. He's hurt twice already and won his first training camp. So that's probably not gone as well. Edge rushers probably not gone as well, the third and fourth guys, as they would have hoped. So I would say, a little blah, but not poor by any stretch. Not not like, oh, they had a bad training camp. More of, they're a really good team, and some of the holes they did try to fill in, they don't look like home runs right away. It's not to say they can't turn into that, but they don't look like home runs right away, the original plans.
I think that's fair to say. John, is it also fair to say that when your team has as much success as the Eagles have had, some of this other stuff becomes a little more boring, and maybe training camp is a good example of that right now?
Yeah, well, I think the NFL as a whole, the mindset around the NFL contributes to that, and that a lot of teams, not every team, but most teams, I would say, the tipping point has shifted towards most teams. Care more about getting their key players to week one healthy than, going all out in training camp. And a lot of coaches I've talked to over the years, and this goes back years, said, well, when they scaled back the CBA, and remember, this is all collectively bargained. You can't practice like you used to practice by law, by edict. You can't. So a lot of coaches came to the conclusion, well, we can't practice the way we want to prepare. So why push it? And let's get to week one as healthy as possible, and sort of, and that's where the mindset comes in, that the first two games are really the preseason games like they used to be. And you have some sloppy football, and you start to hopefully sharpen up as things go on. So that's sort of like the NFL landscape. And people have made that decision where I need my guys in week one. And then, if they get hurt in week one, at least they're hurt in a meaningful situation. Doesn't make it better, but I think it feels empty. I said that yesterday. It feels empty if you lose a guy in the preseason.
Yeah, that makes complete sense. John, does that bring any concern with that approach, just considering the Eagles' first four games are really pretty tough? I mean, the Cowboys, I think, are the easiest of the four, and then you have the Chiefs, you have the Rams, and you have the Bucs, who I think are actually a pretty sleeper team to be pretty good this year. What do you think of those first four games? I do think the Eagles have kind of an uphill battle, or just a tough first four. Any concern with that based on, what you just explained, that it might be a slower start?
Well, I haven't looked at it, but I know right off the bat that Dallas, is not preparing like, they're still arguing with Micah Parsons and all that stuff.
Yeah, probably good on Dallas.
And the Rams, I know Matthew Stafford's been out with the back injury, and everybody's worried about what's going on there. So, they're doing the same thing. Kansas City, probably Andy's, old school. And I haven't seen much of what's going on in Tampa. They're a good team, and that's a difficult spot, as it has been. I think the weather forecast.
Weather's the toughest part of that game.
Yeah. Will pay. So, right off the bat, Dallas and LA are doing the same thing the Eagles are. Not Dallas in a different style. They're just Jerry's he's a piece of work, man. So I think people forget the other end of the spectrum. I think I've always said Eagles fans are very hyper focused on the Eagles, which is most fan bases, and they don't really pay attention to the other teams. The other teams, the context is, well, they're doing the same thing, a lot of the other teams. So, and the Eagles have more talent. So, yes, on paper, the first four games might be the most difficult stretch on the schedule. But they're better than all four of those teams. And a bunch of those teams are handling, it's only four teams, but at least two of those teams are handling things the same way they are.
And that Matt Stafford Rams injury is a little shaky if I'm a Rams fan right now.
Well, it's the same thing with A.J. Brown here. The Rams say he's fine, and it'll be fine. And, he's older, though.
Back is from that it's back, right? He's got back problems?
Yeah, he's got a back thing. So, I assume he's going to be there. I wouldn't hope I would never hope for a player to be injured. I assume he's going to be healthy and playing, but they're being cautious with him. Same as they are here with their star players. So, and that's happened all around the league. I mentioned Jefferson just returned yesterday after 20 days or something.
Yeah.
He had a little hamstring. I've been seeing that guy jump around like a knucklehead on, broadcast. He's doing the one game on NFL Network. He's doing play-by-play from the sideline. He's jumping around. He's joking. People are just being cautious with their star players because that's the NFL landscape now. And that's just the way it is.
Yeah, and I don't think it's going to change at all. And I think the Eagles have been at the forefront of it. So had a lot of success. Can't really criticize what they're doing or the way they're doing it, John. So overall, still in good shape for this team coming in. John, edge rusher has been your biggest concern. And to be honest, I don't think we answered any of those questions through training camp, unfortunately.
Well, I'm a little bit more confident in JLX Hunt that'll be able to be a competent starter. So I think that's a positive.
What's the root of that confidence?
I think he's had a good camp. He hasn't looked overwhelmed against a very good offensive line. And Jordan, by a lot of practice, most of camp, he had he got the concussion. He's been out a couple days, but he's been out there most of camp. So I think he's been okay. I think he said, I would say I would tilt towards the positive camp for him. Nolan Smith, my only worries I said are injury related and more, not even injury related, more of wear and tear related. Can he hold up at his size for 17 games in his injury history? That's my only concern with Nolan Smith. I know he can play. And then the other guys, I mean, I don't have tremendous confidence in any of them. I think Uche's been fine. Now he's banged up. He's got a groin. Everybody else has been sort of underwhelming with the exception of Patrick Johnson, who's been good and is always good in August. But I think there's that limited upside that Howie, talked about that I brought up. He can find backups anywhere. He's worried about guys with upside. So when you start whittling down to 53, think about upside more than meritocracy.
John, as you mentioned
back end of the roster.
You mentioned Ojulari. Maybe I'm not saying you have information or anything, but Ojulari, I don't know, just as a potential guy who maybe they trade or as a surprise name. Do you think they would bring in an edge, or do you think they'd be fine going with Uche, Obo, and Patrick Johnson as the back?
No, I still think they're going to bring in an edge. I will think that until the week one kickoff.
You've been thinking that for a while, John.
I will think that until the week one kickoff. Not to say I'm going to be right, but I cannot believe that Howie Roseman is going into a season with this edge rushing group. And I think he wants to add, and I'm not talking about Trey Hendrickson or Micah Parsons. I'm talking about a young player with upside. I think he wants to add something to that room from an upside standpoint.
I guess not. I mean, it feels a little redundant at this point to get another player that has upside. Like, I think we're feeling the same with Nolan and Jalix, who are upside projections, basically. Well,
I don't think Nolan is, like I said, but
I mean, John, you're the one who schooled me on this. You're like, dude, he's played 9 games, Zander, and I'm like, yeah, you're kind of fucking right.
Well, I get, but it's all tied to, can he hold up? Like I know he can play, not just from the 9 games.
It's not a talent question with him, right?
Not just from the 9 games. I mean, I know he can play, just from watching him every day. But yeah, I have significant concerns about other parts of that equation. But no, I think that's a position you want 4, and you at least want 3 with who can be starter level ceilings, as Howie said, and then you can cobble together the 4th and the 5th guys. So And I think if they get one more guy, I think it all fits into place. Obviously, if they were able to get a Hendricks in, I mean, then it turns from weakness to strength overnight. Everything falls into place. Like I think Hunt should be a third, the number 3 right now.
Right.
It's like a baseball rotation, and I think Nolan's a great number 2, but he's not an ace. So if you get the ace, everything falls into place.
Right. Everything improves a little bit.
And
that doesn't feel likely to you though, right?
No. You're talking about, I mean, the only way Hendrickson would fit is if he woke up today and said, "Hey, I want to go win a Super Bowl. Let me go try to do it, and I'll play on my contract that he's been, But to me, he's underpaid by every metric by a drastic degree. He wants $35 million, and no, they're not paying that.
Maybe you can make an argument they should, but I guess they're not going to, based on what they have coming down the pipeline. With all the contracts coming up. But a lot of questions, John, on the defensive side of the football. I think offensively things are feeling pretty good. You mentioned Jalen. You think has had one of his best off seasons. Definitely cool, calm, and collected. Jalen Hurts definitely comfortable and confident at the microphone, and really at large seems like for Jalen Hurts. So. A lot of questions, though, on that defense, though, John, and I think that's going to be the story of the year this year is what is that defense able to do? What is Vic able to get out of those players that he's got on that side of the ball?
Yeah, and that was, really where we were at this time last year. I think people forget there was a lot of uncertainty. So from that standpoint, there's the positive nature of, Vic will get it done, and I think too many people are of that ilk. Probably in the building as well. Yeah, he's great. I talk him up all the time. Best defensive coordinator, I think, in the NFL. I think he's a future Hall of Famer. They ever take assistant coaches seriously, coordinators. He's one of the best coordinators ever. But you look at his career. He's got bad talent. He had bad seasons. Talent is more important than anything else. And the Eagles, I'm not saying the Eagles have bad talent, but my point is, if you got to use it as, if you got 15 level talent, 15th level defense in the NFL, Vic will probably get you to 12 or 11.
Right. Exactly.
That's what I'm talking about. If you got 32, he's probably getting you to 23 or 24. That's sort of what happens. And you see that throughout his career. Again, he's never had the number 1 defense before. I think people know he never won a Super Bowl till last year. So a lot of things went right last year. A lot of most notably Zach Bond would probably be the really out of left field. Rookies playing at the level they played at. And then guys who were here and had been here having career years. Guys like Josh, more so Milton than Josh Sweat. But Josh was close to his top tier level. Jacoby had a career year. I don't know if CJ had a career year, but he was around for 17 games. So I guess you could say he had a career year. He was good in 2022 as well, but he missed a bunch of games. So a bunch of things fell into place last year.
No doubt, Johnny Mac, a bunch of things falling into place. We got Jeff Kerr falling into place as well. He's in the green room. We'll get to Jeff in just a second. Let's go to Dank Bird Gang, who checks in on a super chat. And Dank actually goes somewhere that maybe is one of my bigger concerns. He says, has Drew Kendall had snaps at guard just in case something happens to Steen?
Yeah, he got second team snaps at left guard in the Cleveland game in the second half. Played the entire second half at left guard. That was the first time he had gotten left guard snaps. So, I mean, if you're going to be an interior backup and he's going to be in the interior backup, you have to be able to play multiple positions. You have to play all 3 on the interior. So they've started that cross-training process. I think you'll see him at left guard again in the preseason finale. And they've just started that process. But yeah, hasn't gotten snaps at right guard yet, but he's gotten snaps at left guard.
Yeah, well, I do think that offensive line depth is maybe a little bit lesser this year, but we will see how it pans out. Dank, thanks for the super chat, brother. Appreciate you. Appreciate everybody for being here. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, and stay locked in on Birds 365. One more super chat, then we'll get to Jeff Kerr. Josh Herman says, "Hey, John, any update on who's playing in Game 3?"
Yeah, nobody that you want to see playing in Game 3. Well, I don't know how deep of a fan you are. None of the key players are playing. No. Even to the point where,
these stupid third games of the preseason are just a wash, John.
Yeah. They signed a linebacker yesterday, Chance Campbell, which is an indication they didn't have enough linebackers to get through this game because they don't even want to play Campbell in this game. Probably not Trotter either. So you're going to see a big Lance Dixon Dallas Gant game. And Chance Campbell, who you probably don't even know.
Yeah, that's a snooze.
That's what you're talking about in this game, unfortunately.
No doubt about it. Let's go to our main man, Jeff Kerr, set to join us here on Birds 365. Jeff Kerr here with us now. You can follow him at Jeff Kerr CBS. Jeff, welcome to the show, man. How you doing on a Thursday morning? We're used to seeing you on Monday. It's good to see you here on a Thursday. Jeff, how you doing, brother?
You know what, Zander? Camp's over. Kind of glad after watching that practice yesterday. I felt like I could have went through that walkthrough.
There you go, Jeff.
Yeah,
Jeff, you seem more upbeat today. You seem more you seem like I'm not going to have to yell at you for being a curmudgeon today.
Zander, when you're covering two sports and it's that time of year, you could be a curmudgeon and
any given moment.
Yeah, the Phillies are making their run.
But by the way, guys, did you know I'm apparently Rob Thompson's biggest hater? I've only defended the guy almost every day for like 4 years. I'm telling you, you fans need to take a chill pill. Seriously, I'm not saying Eagles fans, just in general. Like,
Eagles fans need to take a chill pill. Like, look at all the shit I got for your boy last year, Saquon Barkley, Jeff.
You say he was going to have a good year.
I was the one who had more total yards than anybody else. Everybody else is raving about him.
There's three guarantees in life, guys: death, taxes, and when John and Jeff are together, they're shitting on the fans.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, John's going to enjoy this.
That's true.
Because this is our fun time of year for the beat writers, the 53-man roster prediction.
Yeah, I'm far more uncertain this year.
I am too. So I just want to make this clear to a lot of people because I gotta get tired of hearing this. Just because you win the competition doesn't mean you're the best beat writer. As someone who competes in a lot of stuff, I'm telling you this, it's not that big of a deal. It's fun. It's supposed to be fun.
Yeah. I'm a former winner, by the way, Chip.
You are a former winner.
I'm a 3-time runner-up.
I'm thinking John's going to win again this year.
No, I'm very.
I honestly, I have no expectations.
John, you don't have to have confidence in yourself. I got confidence that Johnny Mac will prevail and win it this year.
Normally, I can get 50 in my sleep. There's so many.
Not this year.
There's so many machinations to come. Well, first of all, it's impossible to predict trades, so that's going to screw a bunch of people. Because I think Howie's going to make some moves, but.
Doesn't it feel like the winner is going to have like 49 this year? It's not going to be like 51 or 52.
Well, what's made it more difficult, and I hate this rule, is that you can put 2 guys on IR designated to return before, at the cut to 53. Usually you had to keep somebody on the initial 53 or they were out for the season. Now you have those essentially 2 mulligans. They used them last year with Anaya Smith. I forget who the other one was. And then you have this ability to have veterans on the practice squad, which was not a thing for many years. Now you can have 10-year veterans on the practice squad.
And the Eagles have 2 opt-outs this year with Nakobe Dean and with Johnny Wilson.
Yeah. Well, we'll see with Johnny, but it doesn't look good. Nakobe's obviously going to start on PUP, but with the wink deals, guys who don't have to go through waivers, so guys who are vested 4 years, they don't have to go through waivers at this time of year. So you can play the game with them where you say, hey, Nick Gates last year was the perfect example of this. they wanted to keep him as the backup center. But they needed a 53-man roster spot to keep one of their younger players. And so they said, hey, stay in a hotel for a couple days. We're going to bring you back on the practice squad. We're going to elevate you for game day for the first 3 games, and then we'll figure it out.
It was written in his contract.
Yeah. So that's sort of the hijinks that happens now, which the NFL's made it easier on the GMs. I don't like that. But it's made it more difficult. And the Eagles have a bunch of, like, Brett Toth might be the week 1 starter at left guard. He might get cut. I firmly believe that.
Yeah.
Because they'll say, hey, Brett, same thing. We're gonna bring you back. We're gonna start you on the practice squad. We're gonna elevate you. You're gonna start against Dallas. If Landon's not ready, they might do it that way. So don't be surprised by that at all.
Yeah. So I only do 2 53-man roster projections. One came out today, and I'll do my final one. I had Brett Toth making it, but I've also considered that one too, John. It's like, okay, cut him, do that Nick Gates backdoor thing, and he makes it.
Yeah.
Where's the biggest question area on the roster for you, Jeff? In terms of it could be this, could be in terms of the position, you mean? Yeah, that's good.
Honestly, offensive line. I'm just not sure what way they're going to go with a lot of these players because I don't want to be that guy. The 2 guys they drafted are not that good.
Well, 3 guys, but I think Kendall,
I feel like, is the one guy who's been pretty good.
Well, Kendall's the one. I think that's a lock of the 3.
Yeah, he's locked in. But Hinton and Williams aren't ready to play right now, and that's difficult. It's like, but Jeff Stoutland wants to work with them. So do you risk them on waivers? Those are the questions.
Do you guys think there's a premium on Eagles of offensive linemen on the waiver wire? Like, they might not be ready to play, but just because they came from the Eagles and they're hit the waiver
maybe
wire.
not the rookie. See, this is where I got.
Dylan McMahon got picked up last year, Jeff.
He did get picked up.
He got picked up off the practice squad, though. He got through waivers eventually.
Yeah, and that's the other thing you got to remember too. When you leave these guys on the practice squad, they are subjective to getting picked up and add to a 53 at any time. Look, one of my toughest cuts, and I don't want to do it right now, is Kendall Lamb.
Yeah,
who's going to be the swing tackle this year? I thought Kendall Lamb might end up being the swing tackle.
Matt
Looks like
Pryor.
It's Pryor. Yeah.
Well, I don't know if he can play left tackle.
That's what I thought. That's why I didn't have him as the swing, John, because you're like, he only plays the right.
Well, they moved him over ever since Jordan got the concussion.
Yeah.
He's been playing left tackle with the first team. Not well, but he's been playing.
Yeah, exactly. It's not been well, but they're doing it. And
yeah.
I just don't know. Like, Kendall Lamb has been the guy I keep thinking, I can see him making the roster. I can't see him making the roster. And if he doesn't make it, I really hope it's not because of Miles Hinton and Cam Williams. But I think that might be the case.
That is, how many guys you want a red shirt? Howie doesn't like, I have this with Antoine Powell-Ryland as well, who has done nothing. And I still question whether he'll make the roster. He might make the roster.
He does not deserve to make this team.
No, from a meritocracy standpoint, no, absolutely not. But it's not a meritocracy. People say it is, but it's not.
Yeah, because they wasted a draft pick on him, and that's how they value it.
I don't know if it's wasted. I mean,
well, it's not wasted. But
I don't think
you know what I
mean. Play. I don't think he's ready to play right now.
Honestly, if you're just asking me,
I don't think Ty Robinson's ready to play right now.
No, I don't either. But they're so deep at that position, I don't think it's going to matter.
No, but they're not cutting Ty Robinson by any stretch of the imagination. But if you went true meritocracy, he's not beating out Gabe Hall and Byron Young.
You know what's funny?
No shot.
You know what's funny, John? I put all of them on, Gabe Hall and Byron Young. I said, you know what? They deserve to make this team. Bottom line.
Well, I don't know how many DTs you have there.
I have 6.
6? Wow. Yeah,
well, you know how I got 6. I did a little loophole right now.
You only kept 4 edges?
No. 2 quarterbacks.
Oh, 2 quarterbacks, yeah. All
right. That was how I pulled it off. So I'm like, hey, you know what? We'll see after the 3rd preseason game. But again, Kyle McCord's another one. Like, do you risk putting him on waivers?
Well, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you this. I guarantee one thing. You can mark this down. Clip it, people. Howie ain't cutting 4 draft picks. So if you got him cutting McCord and Williams and Hinton and Robinson, because he's not.
Well, he ain't cutting Robinson. He ain't cutting Robinson.
No.
Powell Ryland. I think it's
Powell Ryland. All right. Throw Powell Ryland. Yeah.
Still, that's 4, John.
That's 4. Yeah, he ain't doing that.
You know what? I'm that guy, and I know draft analysts did not like when I said it this year. This draft class sucked. Oh, that's uneducated. No, it's not. You're seeing the result. Stop with this. You're seeing the result.
It's too early to say that, Jeff.
Yeah, it's way too early. Way too early. Normally I encourage your curmudgeonness, but it's way too early to say this. Look, Howie
and I think
said
Miles Hinton's going to be a nice player too. I just don't know if I'm going to keep him on 53.
Well, I mean, you're looking at all the 4, the 5th and 6th rounder. I think actually the top has panned out. I mean, Makuba, if he can stay healthy, I think is at the least proven.
Oh no, the top of the draft
player. Jihad, I think, is on his way to becoming that player. Who was the round 3 pick this year? That was no, they didn't have a round.
They didn't have a round 3 pick. But no, their top 2 picks I liked. Like when I was looking at the totality of the draft, I'm talking about everybody here, right? I thought the first 2 days you were going to get some good value, some good players. Some guys were going to fall that shouldn't have fell. But then when you get to day 3, you're just like, and that's like this every year. You're getting wild cards, but it just felt like they weren't your typical, like, oh, this guy's a 5th round pick, but it didn't feel like he was a 5th round pick because a lot of these better players are staying in college now.
I actually think the only one who kind of felt like that was Ty Robinson on day 3 when you were like, oh, this is a pretty solid player to get on day 3.
And I think Ty Robinson is going to be a pretty solid. He's very smart.
He's not ready yet, but I do think he has a decent chance to be.
But they have the luxury of, we got Moro Jomo, we got Gabe Hall, who's developed, we got Byron Young, who's developed, and we kept the year on the practice squad. Like, you can afford to do this with Ty Robinson.
Well, it's always difficult when you keep somebody on the roster who's not active or not contributing at all. And he's going to get a red shirt. And then, Kendall's going to be a part of it. Mac's going to be a part of it. Small Munden. So I'm going down to day 3 picks. So then you have the final 4, McCord, Hinton, Williams, Powell, Ryland. Obviously, none of them are ready to compete. Usually you want to keep 3 quarterbacks. I don't think they want to expose McCord to waivers.
I don't either. That's why I think, again, what I put out today and what I'm going to tweet later about this, I'm like, just remember, there's probably going to be at least 5 or 6 changes because that's just, but this is like, okay, but after training camp, let's put this up and then you guys can debate and I'll probably end up listening to a lot of you because I'm not fully confident in this either.
I've heard so many rave reviews about his upside that I don't think they're cutting Hinton. Williams and APR are the guys I think they have to expose to waivers.
Yeah,
they have to.
By the way, after this training camp, I'm doing my winners and losers. How the heck did Smile Mondin fall to the 5th round?
Well, I think he's, I think he's more of a coverage linebacker at this point. So I think, he's got to prove himself in the physical aspect of the game. You saw Cleveland, how the tight end, I forget, kind of dragged him into the end zone early.
The Cincinnati game, you mean?
Cincinnati, yeah.
Yeah.
Cleveland, Cincinnati.
Yeah. I was going to say Harold Fannin dragged him into the end zone?
No.
I could see that.
Yeah, the Cincinnati game. So I think that's the questions with him. But I think he'll be a good special teams player early. And if you throw him in there, he'll hold his own, but there'll be times where you probably gets, a little bit blown off the ball a little bit.
They would be as deep at linebacker as they are.
Well, I mean, they were pretty deep last year. Nobody knew it, but they knew it after the Super Bowl.
Yeah, right. Manorin Burks had a great freaking end of the year.
Oh, Warren Burks was great all year.
He was great. I mean, I was actually worried about replacing him this year, Jeff, but I brought up to John yesterday. We were talking about maybe like unlikely trade candidates. And not that I think they're going to trade a linebacker, but I did throw out there, does the depth at linebacker maybe make them consider that, because Dean's
you could,
right.
I mean, I don't want them to do it personally.
No, me neither.
But again, if you're trying to make another position stronger, it's not a terrible move to do.
Yeah. There's going to be some stuff going around. Tom Pelissero's already talking about a Terry McLaurin potential deal.
There were 4 deals yesterday, by the way.
Deal or trade, John? Deal with the Commanders?
Trade. Yeah. Trade.
Ooh.
Yeah. He was just on TV talking about it, but I don't know how serious it is. If Washington does that, it would make no sense to me.
No, like, are you trying to win a Super Bowl this year or not?
Yeah. So, might be just be TV talk, so to speak, But there's a lot of, I think GMs today are more willing, mention that before you came on, Jeff. The NFL used to be a bunch of old school. We can't do this. No trades, no nothing. Now the new breed of GM is like, yeah, I'll make moves. They're making moves all over the place.
They all grew up playing Madden franchise mode.
Yeah.
It's real life.
Well, it's more exciting for the fans when you have this movement. There were 3 trades yesterday.
4 trades.
4 trades. So, I mean, I think it's more exciting for the fans from that standpoint. All that movement.
It does have a little Madden franchise mode. John, I don't think John will understand that, Jeff. But I know.
No.
I used to do that to trade those guys like I'm not playing.
I mean, you load up franchise mode and you build a super team. You boggle that. You know what I mean? You keep hitting A until they accept the trade and you get a superstar.
Well, yeah, I don't understand the mechanics of it, but I understand the sentiment behind it.
Yeah,
that's usually running behind my joke. This isn't Madden. Like everybody's like, trade this guy. I'm like, this isn't Madden. That's not exactly how it works.
Maybe becoming more like it though. Maybe becoming.
It might be.
Yeah, it hasn't. Well, we're talking about medium to lower level players.
This is why I personally think they're going to make at least 1 deal.
Oh yeah, I'd be shocked if they didn't make at least.
I mean, look at all the draft picks they got next year and the following year.
I'd be shocked.
Well, what move, Jeff? Where are they adding?
You know what? I think safety could be a potential move. Could be. I still want an edge rusher. I've been wanting an edge rusher since for months.
John's been pounding that table for months.
I know. I mean, look, I think it's edge rusher. I think that's who they should get.
Yeah. What about corner? What are you feeling on corner? Because Jeff, I think that position's an abomination. They came in hoping it to be Keele Ringo. Adoree Jackson was the safety net. And 2 weeks ago, they have to trade for Ja'Cory Bennett. They get rid of really a good depth piece in Thomas Booker, which I'm not going to whine about, but still a good depth piece on the defensive line. And now you have hopefully Ja'Cory Bennett, who can play outside corner. Keele Ringo seems to be completely falling off the face of the earth and not even in the competition anymore. Feels like cornerback 2 was a big disappointment for the franchise.
I think overall the position is fine. But yeah, if you're asking for a starter right now, I think you might have to sacrifice the slot if you're really going to do that. I think they got to bank on maybe Mac McWilliams learning how to play the slot because their best option is Cooper.
That would be a pretty good draft pick then. Was he a 5th rounder?
5th round.
Thrown into the fire.
Was he a 4th rounder or a 5th round? I don't remember anymore.
I thought
5th.
By the way, when you have all these draft picks, you're going to have some hits and some misses.
Ty Robinson was 4th,
true.
and Mac McWilliams and Small were the 5th round picks. But they tried Mac in the slot, and he's back outside. That tells me something.
Yeah, and Vic didn't exactly give him the biggest words of encouragement the other day.
Yeah. He said, what he was asked point blank, what would it take to move Cooper outside? And he said 2 things. 1, we'd have to develop somebody to play in the slot. And 2, somebody would not have to develop on the outside. And then he was asked, basically, is that in the cards? And he said, not now. So maybe down the road, but.
I tried to get him with Aziz the other day. He didn't give me an encouraging answer on him either.
No, well, it was funny. We were talking in the media house the other day. So the what's today? Thursday, the Tuesday practice. Bunch of guys. We watched a minute, an hour and 45-minute practice, and nobody remembered if he was on the field. He was, but nobody remembered it. He has not had a great camp. Yeah. Maybe maybe he's a game player, but I don't think that's going to work with Vic.
I put him on my roster, but that's because I didn't have a choice.
Yeah, exactly.
There's no, who else are you going to put in?
I have him on the roster, but I can see them trading him. I could see them trading for somebody and releasing him.
That's what I think is going to happen. They're going to trade. I'm telling you this. I don't care anymore. Just trade for a difference maker there. That's what won you the Super Bowl.
They're not going to do that, though.
I know they're not going to do that. Well, fine. Then guess what? I don't want to hear this fan base complain in January when they're losing in the wild card or the divisional round. Period.
Well, it's tough to win. There's no doubt about it.
I know it's tough to win, but that's one of the reasons why you're not going to win.
Well, it is interesting because I think, because of how the Super Bowl unfolded, and Jalen was the MVP, and you have the dagger, and I think there's a bunch of people who don't realize why they won that game. And they won that game, not that all those guys played great, but they won that game because Kansas City didn't pass the 50-yard line for 9 consecutive drives.
I'm going to say two things right now, and maybe Eagles fans will agree, maybe they won't. The Super Bowl MVP is on the Arizona Cardinals, the real Super Bowl MVP.
I agree.
That's why I hate quarterbacks.
Or the New England Patriots.
Eli Manning has 2 Super Bowl MVPs. That's a joke. It's a joke. It is.
Yeah, one should have been Justin.
And I love Jalen.
Who would you rather had the MVP last year?
Huh?
Who do you think should have gotten it?
Josh Sweat should have won it.
Josh
Sweat was the Super Bowl MVP last year.
Yeah, Josh or Milton should have won.
Yeah.
But they're never going to give it to him.
By the way, the Eagles had what was it?
Why though? Why Sweat? Because it's 2 sacks.
2.5 sacks. He had 8 pressures.
Well, they were dominant. He
was the most dominant player on a dominant unit.
I mean, Justin Tuck was the most dominant player on the one Giants.
He ain't get MVP. It's crazy.
No. I mean, it's just it's a playmaker award. Nothing against Jalen. Jalen played very well.
Oh yeah, Jalen had a great game. I'm not disparaging that. It's just there are other great.
But they're just going to give it. If a quarterback plays well and wins the game, they're going to give it to him. That's what the award is.
I think the whole line being so good actually hurt Sweat's chances because everybody played good on the line.
That's true.
Yeah, I agree with you, Zander.
And I try not to put as much stock, John, in the sacks because you've educated me on.
I'm not talking about the sacks. I'm talking about, to Jeff's point, the pressures, the dominance, the constant. Patrick Mahomes, if he watched the game, was completely uncomfortable. The whole plan was to take away his first read, and the Eagles did a good job. So the secondary did everybody on defense.
Carter beat up on him too, man.
Honestly, you could have given that award to Cooper DeJean.
Yeah.
He had a great game.
Well, that's probably why. I mean, all this conversation we just had, while I do appreciate it, it probably shows why Jalen Hurts won it, because it's easier to go that road. 2, he also had a great game. And, when you have a defense that dominates and there's 6
I don't
you dilute everybody a little bit.
I also personally like how Jalen won because that just backs up my claims on him being a really good quarterback. So I can always use that flex.
Yeah. I don't think Jalen's defined by it, but I think
I don't think he is.
I often say, I constantly say, who's the Eagles MVP? And I say, well, I'd like to give it to the offensive line. After the Super Bowl, I said, well, I'd like to give it to the defensive front. On our post-game show, I said that. I'd like, but obviously that's not what the award is. So I think when you understand what the award is, if the quarterback plays well on the winning team, he's going to win the award. Jalen Hurts played well on the winning team. He got the award.
By the way, Zander, ever hear of Malcolm Smith?
I've heard the name, but I feel like I'm being set up.
Super Bowl MVP.
He's a Super Bowl MVP. That's why.
No.
Let me read about him. Malcolm Smith.
I'm pretty sure, wasn't Dexter Jackson a Super Bowl MVP?
Was Dexter? I don't know if Dexter.
I think the year the Bucks won, it might have been Dexter Jackson.
Sure, it might have been. It should have been maybe Devin White. He had a great.
No, I meant when in Super Bowl 37.
Oh, okay,
yeah. But Devin White could have won Super Bowl MVP.
Do you guys think Josh Sweat's the one guy maybe they should have re-signed?
I think it's gonna be
I don't
tough.
have a problem with the decision because he got overpaid. That's what happens in free agency. But
Look, I mean, look at Milton.
but yeah, I think I think Slay is the most difficult that loss so far that they haven't been able to replace, and I think Sweat is number 2.
I think up there too. Isaiah Rodgers. I don't think they thought he was going to leave.
I don't think they think he's a starter.
Well, yeah, that too. But he's getting paid to start.
Yeah, and that's why they let him leave
Yeah.
because he got decent money. Dexter Jackson was the MVP. That's a good pull by Jeff Kerr.
I kind of remember my Super Bowl MVPs. I don't know why. Probably. Well, I just argued Eli Manning winning them. So there you go.
And Tampa Bay won that game. Did they score 50?
They scored 49.
Yeah. So
I said after they beat the Eagles in that NFC Championship game, I was disheartened. By the way, it's still the worst loss I've ever experienced. I said that team is going to kill whoever they play in the Super Bowl.
But
Oakland and Tennessee were playing later that day.
That was the Brad Johnson game. Brad Johnson Super Bowl. And Brad was only 18 of 34, 79.9 passer rating. So that's what has to happen for somebody else to win Super Bowl MVP.
Yeah. Jalen had a really good Super Bowl.
Yeah, I feel like in order for that to happen, the Eagles offense would have had a kind of a crappy game.
Yeah.
Maybe they scored 20.
And they didn't.
They didn't. They also had a great game. That's what I mean.
Yeah, if the winning quarterback plays well, he's
That's what I mean.
Well, unless you're Eli Manning.
He played pretty well.
But
I'd have to look it up.
But he's not. I mean, look, he's a Asante Samuel drop away from.
Oh, he's not a Hall of Fame quarterback. I have that discussion all the time.
But unfortunately,
I just mean
one.
Yeah, I agree. He's going to be one. I just mean, you don't win Super Bowl MVP even as a quarterback if you play poorly. So he played well. But the one Giants win, Justin Tuck was just unbelievable. I mean, to the point like way higher individual performance than even Josh or Milton last year. To Zander's point, the whole defensive front on the Eagles was dominant.
Yeah.
But so the one where Justin Tuck went nuts, he should have been the MVP.
That's how I felt. Like Justin Tuck just took over that game.
Yeah. But it's a quarterback award. That's what it is.
And it's fine. Look, again, when I get to write about how good Jalen Hurts is and stuff he does that maybe people don't realize, I use that. I'm like, hey, he won Super Bowl MVP. It is what it is.
Here's one since we brought up Jalen. Everybody thinks I shit on Jalen, and I'm the one saying
Jalen loves you. Jalen loves you, John.
Well, because he knows I'm fair. He doesn't love me. He doesn't love anybody, but he knows.
He respects you. How's that?
He knows I'm fair. I think. I've heard people say he had a bad camp. I think he's had the best offseason he's ever had.
I thought he had a good camp.
Yeah.
What are we determining a bad camp with?
I don't know. Somebody and to be fair, I don't even know who said it. But Zander asked me that question because somebody said he had a bad camp. I think he's become a better. I think he has always been a player who's not the greatest practice player because I explain all the time. In practice, they blow dead some of the stuff he does so well in the games. They blow
extend the play,
escaping from the pass rush, that kind of thing. So it doesn't show up in practice. He to me this year he became a good practice player on top of being obviously a very good game player.
For a guy, I claimed yesterday I barely paid attention to that thing. Whatever they were doing yesterday, Jalen was throwing some darts yesterday. Some legit throws.
He's the best go route thrower in the NFL. Period. Yeah. We had that back and forth after I forget the touchdown, but it was after the game where he threw a go route and they said I couldn't do that, and I said I just said you could.
I know which game that was.
I forget which game it was, but we had that back and forth, and like he's got this chip on his shoulder. Like he is a great, and I mean great, deep ball thrower. Like
He's the best deep ball thrower in football. If you look at the advanced numbers, he is.
Quinyon Mitchell maybe had the best camp of everybody. So when Quinyon gets beat, it was like a event. And Jahan Dotson beat him on that go route. He had like a half a step on Quinyon. But the ball was perfect in the bucket.
By the way, Jahan Dotson had a really good camp.
Yeah, he did. He did. And I can validate because Jeff's a Penn State guy, so you can't always trust him.
I'm just telling you.
He had a very good camp. He had a very good camp. I'm just giving him shit.
Jeff, I got a question for you. Is Darius Cooper on your 53-man
yes,
projection?
I put him on. I actually put him and Ananias on because of the Johnny Wilson thing. So
how many receivers you got?
I think 6.
6.
Williams
Did you put Johnny on IR?
Huh?
Johnny on IR?
Yeah, Johnny on IR. That's what I did.
Did you put Avery Williams on as a receiver?
Nope.
No. All right.
So you have Ananias being the return man.
Right now, yes.
Well, yeah, he could do it. I mean,
I agree with you, Jeff. I think that's exactly what they do.
I mean, you know what? I thought Darius Cooper did enough with the first team this week, in my opinion, to make a case for that roster spot. He's in the conversation, as John likes. He's
definitely in the conversation.
Like, if they cut him, I won't be shocked, but I won't be shocked if he makes it either.
Oh, that's where I am. I wouldn't be shocked either way. I think most people would be shocked if he gets cut at this point, and to put himself in that position.
Yeah, good for him.
Yeah, that tells you what kind of summer he had.
By the way, great interview. I've talked to him 2 or 3 times.
Yeah, he's a good dude.
He's awesome. Like he's great. You could tell he's living his dream. It's a great story.
And taking advantage of his opportunity. It's really hard for undrafted guys, especially on a team this deep. And then they bring in John Mechie. It's like, what the hell?
You know what? I keep going to what certain people tell me, and it's usually the same 2 people that are prominent in this league. If you have to look up where a school is, you're probably pretty good.
Yeah, well, that's true. That's good. Yeah, that's good. Stephenville, Texas, I believe.
Yep, Stephenville, Texas. He played against Baylor. That was when I first heard of him.
He was second in the nation at that level in receiving yards.
Yeah.
Didn't even get invited to the combine.
No, he said that's a chip on his shoulder, by the way. He didn't get invited.
Yeah, which even the NFL makes mistakes every once in a while.
That's one of those, like, I'm telling you, when he said that, I'm like, that's probably his motivation. You just told me I'm not good enough. In your own way. Well, okay.
Now here's my issue and why, you got some people. BLG called him a lock. My buddy Brandon League out, and everybody's got him on their 53 pretty much.
I mean, I don't disagree with BLG on that, but I think it's a stretch.
Well, lock to me means 100%. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if he got cut. I wouldn't be surprised if he made
roster locks are the Jalen Hurts and the Saquon.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. I always say 100% means 100%. Not
like
99.
The 3 running backs.
99.8. Yeah. But to the point with Darius Cooper, it's like, it's a larger point. Well, if you're keeping Darius Cooper, which you may, if you're keeping Ty Robinson, which you will, if you're keeping Miles Hinton, which not 100%, but 99%, I'd say. How many red shirt guys do you want on the back end of the run? Because none of those guys are going to play in the actual game.
And that's my issue right now. And some positions you can afford it, like the offensive line, but some I don't know if you can. Receiver, you can, I think.
Yeah, we're going to see. It's going to be interesting. Far more interesting this year than it usually is. Yeah. I will say that. And that, a couple things. That's what the coaches want out of the back end roster guys, to make their decisions difficult, or in this case, Howie. But Howie tends to lean towards upside. So You know,
It's one of those. Like, I'm not Howie Roseman. I'm not even close, but I keep thinking to myself, man, am I really going to let this guy walk out the door?
and that's the second part. Is he going to get claimed on waivers? This is part of it that it brought up. Wide receiver is a position. There's a lot of wide receivers. I'm not saying great receivers.
You and I talked about that yesterday.
Yeah. But like everybody's looking for cornerbacks. Everybody's looking for edge rushers.
That's why they didn't want to get rid of Eli Ricks.
Yeah. Eli bought 3 years on a preseason interception on a 4-string quarterback.
It's good for him, by the way.
He almost got vested from that one play in the preseason. He might get cut this year, but he'll get picked up somewhere else.
Yeah, he'll find a spot.
Yeah. So, yeah, it's. I think they could get him through waivers, so that complicates things for me. Because if they can, they'd probably just want to put him on the practice squad. But that's probably the most difficult decision of all for me, whether they put him on or leave him off. And we're going to see when I put it out there. But I won't do that until after the Jets game. And I'll tell you what. If he's not playing in the Jets game, he's on. But I think he's playing in the Jets game.
Yeah.
So we'll see. We'll see how it shakes out. All right, who had the best camp of everybody? Give me your top 3 players.
Ooh.
And then I'm going to ask you so you can mull it over to get you ready. I'm going to ask you for your top 3 declining players. I know who number 1 will be, but in declining. So give me the top 3 players and the bottom 3, and not bottom 3, but guys who decline.
Yeah, I won't do specific order for top 3, but I thought Jahad Campbell had a really nice camp. I did. I thought he had a great camp. Quinyon Mitchell had the best camp, John. I agree with you. Third. This one's going to be a little tougher, I think.
There's an obvious name, I think.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah, I know. Well, Jalen. I mean, I thought
D-line.
Oh, Morrow. Yeah, Morrow had a great
Morrow.
camp. Thank you for pointing that out. Yeah, I knew I was missing somebody on that list.
Yeah, I'm going Mitchell 1, Morrow 2, and who would I put 3? I wouldn't put Campbell quite that high. He had a very good summer.
I think he had a good enough summer where he's going to be starting week 1.
Oh, I agree with that. I can't put him at 3. I'm going to go 3. Oh, Saquon.
No, Saquon always has a good game. I just ignore him.
See, I disagree. I disagree. He did nothing in last year's camp. Nothing. To the point where, and Elliot and I were talking about this yesterday, they're giving him the ball way too much.
Oh, they definitely are. Like, that's what, like, I know a lot of people have differing opinions on Elliott here, but he makes a lot of sense on a lot of stuff. And Saquon getting the ball too much is one of them.
Yeah. But he's been great. So I know that's boring because he's great, but he deserves to be in that category, I think. All right, give me your 5 most declining players.
Keele Ringo.
Yeah, he's the obvious number 1.
Let's start with him. Very disappointed in Azeez Owujiari. I thought he had a good week against the Browns, but outside of that, I forget he's even on the team.
Yeah, that's a good one. A lot of Georgia love.
Yeah, I'll go with another player at that position, Antoine Powell-Ryland. I forgot he was even here.
Yeah.
Like, wait, like, I hate to do it because I thought he did get better, but Ty Robinson, I was a little disappointed in him.
Yeah, he had a tough game, and he admits it. Ty's very honest.
Yeah, and look, like I think he likes when I ask him about Morrow because Morrow and him are pretty close, from what I've been told, and Morrow's kind of helping him through a lot of stuff. So,
yeah.
Let's see. Who else didn't have a good camp? It's tough to pick. I mean, they traded one of them, Harrison Bryant. I'll tell you that big camp.
Oh.
They traded.
I said Harrison Bryant last night too.
We got some strays. No, I don't think. I think Howie did Harrison Bryant a favor. I think
he did too. Yeah.
I think Harrison Bryant is an NFL player. I think
he is.
Not on this team, but he was going to get cut here. but I think he belongs in the NFL. And he
Did I
will
go
be.
Dorian Thompson-Robinson? I don't think he's that good candidate.
Yeah.
Oh.
I put him on mine.
I give the quarterbacks deference because third-team reps are just a shit show.
Exactly. It's developmental period. Like,
Yeah.
we saw what Tanner McKee can do. We know what he can do.
Yeah.
By the way, great article by Zach Berman today on Tanner McKee. I don't know if anybody's seen it yet.
I have not.
It's something I don't write feature stuff, but it's not that. It's basically why he has a scar on his head, if you ever notice.
Oh yeah, he had some skin issues. That's why he wears the bucket hat and all that stuff.
He had skin cancer at 16.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why he's always out there with the bucket hat. Yeah, he's got to protect himself.
Yeah, I remember I asked him, I said, "Hey, Tanner, I use SPF 50. I think you use a little higher than that." He goes, "Yeah, I do." And it was 70. It ended up being 70.
Yeah, he's
SPF.
got, yeah.
Jeff, I thought you'd be a little higher than 50, honestly.
I can when I'm at the beach.
Yeah.
I purposely do not tan or get red. I just will not take that risk.
Yeah, I go 100. Who cares? I don't give a shit at my age.
I actually get upset when people ask me all the time why I wear hats. I said, well, there's a reason for it.
No, well, people say, "Hey, why is Tanner McKee? He's all relaxing out there, bucket hat." No, yeah, there's a purpose behind it.
Yeah, I'm like, I'm sorry, I don't have hair. It is what it is, right? I mean,
Stoutland,
Tanner, you wear hats all the time. You have hair.
My hair's going away, Jeff.
You're still young though.
I'll be with you shortly, my friend.
Stoutland,
I'm not really a sunscreen wearer. I know that's stupid of me, but I don't know. My mom's 100% Italian. I've always handled sun well. I don't really burn much, so.
Well, see, that's the thing too.
I'm sure it's still not great.
Everybody's got a different makeup. It is what it is.
Yeah, I agree, Jeff.
Stoutland always tells me he had to have his ears clipped, because of skin cancer. Being a football coach, you're out there every day, and guys don't think about it when they're younger, but you should start early if you're going to be out in the sun all the time.
Yeah, I'll tell you my story. It never happened. Like, I never got that, but it was just something stupid one day. I was at Myrtle Beach and I forgot to put on sunscreen a second time, and I just burnt basically everywhere, and it did not feel good the rest of the week.
Yeah.
And I said, nope, no more. I was like,
must have been a lobster.
Oh, I was 17, 18. I wear shirts at the beach now. Like, it's just one of those things. I'm like, you know what? That was one of the worst feelings I ever had. I'm like, I'm not doing that again.
All right. Yeah. Well, you should. Yeah. People worried about people protecting their skin are idiots. So I wouldn't worry about it.
Jeff,
yeah, that's why Tanner wears the bucket hat. So I'm sure Zach. It's good that Zach's back with the Athletic because he's a good features writer.
He can write that stuff again. I told him that. I'm like, look, I'm really excited.
And people will get to see it now, as opposed to being behind another paywall, which limited his reach.
Well, I mean, technically, you got to subscribe to the Athletic. But I guess
but it's much more cost effective. Plus, you get much more value. National New York Times. Like a lot of people have New York Times subscriptions. So in general, which is now running the Athletic. So if you have a New York Times subscription, you get the Athletic automatically. So
my running joke is I don't subscribe to the Athletic for you guys. Like I always joke to Brooks and Zach on that. There's a lot of NASCAR guys I like to read. Their F1 coverage is incredible. So,
you get a lot. You get
I'm a little subscriptioned out, guys. I don't know if I got.
Oh no, I don't blame you. I agree with a lot of people.
That's why you should read Ed Kratz and I.
That's what I do.
Yeah, it's great content.
I read you too, Jeff Kerr.
Go on CBS Sports or CBS Philly. You'll find it.
Yeah, no,
it might be a million ads, but you'll find it.
Jeff, 18 training camp practices later, and now at the conclusion of camp, where are you on the ceiling and the floor of this Eagles defense? Obviously, coming off a year where they really were unbelievable. You talked about the Super Bowl and what they were able to do. What's the floor? What's the ceiling after seeing them through training camp in your eyes?
Well, overall, I do think this is still going to be a top 10 unit because they're really strong on the defensive interior. They're really strong at linebacker. Quinyon Mitchell is going to be a stud. I think we all know that. I think they're better at safety than a lot of people realize. I'm still not comfortable with Sidney Brown, but I still think they're better at safety than people realize. I'll say the ceiling is top 5. The floor is top 15, which honestly is not the worst. It just probably will not get you a Super Bowl.
No, I said that. I said floor was 15-ish, middle of the pack, and I'm not quite as high on you. I think ceiling's probably 8 to 10 range.
That's how I feel like it's going to end up
in the
being.
league are better than them. Like, I know they've lost a lot of players, but is there a lot of teams that have defenses that are loaded with more talent than the Eagles?
It's a really young unit too. That's what we got.
It is a young unit, that's for
sure. Yeah, well, defense is a little like baseball relievers, so you're going to have some teams spiking and some teams having bad years that when you think. But I think if you look at last year's good defenses, Baltimore started slowly. If you look at the talented teams, Baltimore started slowly, finished strong.
Yeah.
I think they'll be better.
Kansas City had a good defense last year, contrary to what maybe people thought watching the Super Bowl.
If you look, obviously, Aiden Hutchinson changes everything. Now, I have to see, they were obviously a disaster on defense, Detroit, but if you look at how good they are in the secondary, and if Aiden Hutchinson is back, like that team's going to be a bitch to deal with. They're just gifted. But, that was such a serious injury. You don't know what he's going to be until you see it. But if the guy who got hurt last year shows back up, they're going to be a top 10 defense.
Yeah.
And he might be defensive player of the year. Then you have the, Flores is, that, but they traded. That was a weird trade yesterday, by the way. Didn't get that trade.
No, there are a couple of trades I didn't get.
But they're very good. I don't know. Who else, Jeff?
I'm just trying to think, how do we feel San Francisco's defense is going to be?
Oh, yeah, they're going to be much
I think
better.
they're going to have a better year because their schedule's obviously so, easy.
And Salah's back. Yeah, they're going to be good.
Yeah.
They're going to be good.
They're like that team that
Denver's good. Did you guys mention Denver?
Oh, Denver.
Oh, well, yeah, Denver was the top 3 defense.
Yeah, Denver's very good.
We'll see how long Nick Bonito's out, though. No, I always forgot to say his name.
Yeah.
They paid Zach Allen a lot of money, which I'm pretty happy about. He's a good player.
So, yeah. I mean, the Eagles were like the Eagles last year were very good, but they lost a shitload. So, if Kansas City was very good last year.
And then the offense kind of, look, Kansas City sold their soul to stop Saquon Barkley.
Tennessee's a shitty team, but they're dominant. Their front is a pain in the ass to deal with. Tennessee's.
Yeah.
Now, but they're a bad team, so people don't recognize it.
How bad do we think the Titans are going to be this year?
Well, pretty bad because
I got to pick my 5 worst teams this year, and I'm going to tell you guys. I think John and Zander, I think you both know this. I usually get 4 out of 5. My hit rate's pretty good on this stuff.
Yeah, the Jets are pretty talented on defense.
You know what? The Giants are going to have a good defense.
Yeah, the Giants front is going to be a pain. There's going to be a Giants game, one of the two, where people are pissed off because they're going to hang around because of that front.
Yeah. I'm almost tempted to not put them on my 5 worst teams this year because of that defense. But then again, I look at what they have on the offensive line every freaking year, and it's just like
Pittsburgh. If TJ's healthy for the whole season,
they're like 1 in 10 when he doesn't play.
Yeah, they will be tough to deal with. Tampa's always in the equation with Bowles. They're a pain in the ass to deal with.
Bucs are one of my sleeper teams.
Green Bay was pretty good last year, which surprised me after the opener and Jeff Hapley and all that stuff.
I think Packers fans are way too optimistic on that football team.
Well, I'm just talking defense.
I know, but overall, it's like they're like, oh, they're a Super Bowl team. I'm like, well, they got to beat good teams.
Yeah, they're not a Super Bowl team. So those are some of the teams that.
I think Jordan Love got a little overhyped.
Yeah, a little bit. He's got to get better. He makes the crazy throws and people get excited by them, but he needs more consistency from play to play.
I said that too, and I'm gonna make this warning. I'm gonna connect this to the Eagles. Please don't overhype Jalen Hurts. I'm begging you, don't do it.
Who?
Jalen Hurts, don't do it.
Oh yeah. Well,
please don't do it.
People are skipping steps on Jalen.
Yeah.
But
the guy was a safety 3 years ago.
Yeah. Ivy League safety.
Yeah. Think about this. When the Eagles were losing to Kansas City in the Super Bowl, he was an Ivy League safety.
Yeah. And but he was an Ivy League safety. He's a smart guy.
He is.
He's
a good kid too.
He's tailor-made for Vic because he feels comfortable in space. So when he has to drop, most of those guys, when they have to drop, it's like fish out of water. He doesn't panic. So there's some good parts to it, but I just think it's unfair to him to expect him to come in and be Josh Sweat.
Yeah. I think it's unfair to Nolan Smith too.
Yeah. Well, I think Nolan's a different level of player. I think Nolan's a really good player. My concerns with Nolan, I talked about it earlier before you came on, are
health.
Yeah. Can he make it through a full season?
Yeah. By the way, John, that is my biggest fear on this defense, amongst these pass rushers. What if one of these guys gets hurt?
Oh my God! Don't even bring that up.
And it's going to happen.
Jeff, any of these spots, dude. Any of these spots. Yeah. If they lose Quinyon Mitchell, can you imagine?
If they lose Quinyon Mitchell or Jalen Carter, I might just.
Yeah, that's why that's every team though. So
Yeah.
Nobody's
that's the Steelers. That's I don't know.
The only thing I would compare it to though, the difference here is Slay missed a pretty good amount of time last year. And I'm not holding that against him, but we had a team that was built to be able to manage that and prevail through that pretty easily. If we had that situation this year, I do not see a player who can come in and be a viable replacement.
Well, Isaiah's a guy I brought up because he's a good player. He played well last season. I'm not trying to disparage that part of it. But I think people overrate how much he played. I'm going to look it up. No, it's like 300 to 400 somewhere in that range.
Now you're asking him to play 800, 900.
Yeah, that was the Eagles' whole philosophy. He's a very good cornerback 3 guy who can come in, play limited snaps, and help you persevere. And now he's being asked to be a starter, and maybe he will. He'll get his opportunity. But that's why the Eagles didn't think he was a starter. There's some size deficiencies, and I do think the more he plays, the more he will be exposed. He's on a very good defense this year, and he's going to be a starting quarterback, and we're going to see
the Eagles
play 421 reps, which includes the playoffs. So again, very limited sample size. He was great in that sample size, but is he a starting quarterback? And we lost Zander.
Yeah, we lost Zander.
But we'll keep talking.
By the way, the Eagles might expose him week 5.
Yeah. Oh yeah. I mean, AJ against Isaiah Rodgers.
Yeah, I'll take AJ. I saw the practices last year.
Yeah, I'll take that matchup for the Eagles. But there will be no excuses because that's that's a very good defense. And he's going to get an opportunity to prove he's a starting cornerback in this league. But I know for a fact the Eagles didn't think he was a starter because some of those size deficiencies. And that's why. And he got decent money, and that's why they let him walk. But my thing with cornerback, Jeff, is I think they have a bunch of good backups. The problem is they can't find the starter. I think the guy, I think
that's how I feel. Yeah.
If you have Jacorian Bennett playing 420 snaps, I think you're fine. I don't know if you're fine if he's playing 1,000 snaps.
Maybe that's where they kind of recuperate the gene. But again, this comes back to the slot stuff.
Yeah, the slot's a bigger problem. I mean, right now, their best slot player behind Cooper DeJean is Brandon Johnson, who's an undrafted rookie from Oregon, who did not play well in the preseason game.
I considered him my 53 until that game.
Yeah. He was, and I think he had a groin injury in that game.
Yeah,
and he's already back. He was back at practice yesterday. So hopefully he can get out there against the Jets. They want to keep him. I think they'll keep him on the practice squad, but yeah, I don't have a backup at nickel, which kind of prevents you from using Cooper as the cure-all. Like if your second safety sucks, if your second cornerback sucks, just put Cooper there. Well, you can't, because then your slot might be worse than the backups at outside corner, your backup slot, and safety. Agree with that or not?
Oh, no, I agree with it. I thought maybe once Makuba got hurt, it's like, well, they could put Cooper at safety if they want to do that. But okay, who's your slot?
Yeah.
I agree with you, John. CB2 is a problem for the starter. But overall, I think the depth is fine. Like you said, you play Bennett, you play Ringo, you play these guys minimum amount. I shouldn't say minimum, but you balance it out, you're fine.
Yeah. And let me know, by the way, I'm keeping you late. Let me know if you got to go, but I'm still going with you because
I got to transcribe. I got to transcribe, but that's okay. I'm off today.
All right. Third string quarterback, because you mentioned that's interesting to me because QB3. So you said you left them both Kyle McCord and Dorian Thompson-Robinson off, which, hey, ultimately, I wouldn't have a problem with that. I do think that Howie's not going to risk losing Kyle McCord on waivers.
That's how I am. Again, this is why I come out with another one after the third preseason game. I basically wrote, these two will have a chance to be the QB3, but I think it's going to be McCord.
Do you think Dorian Thompson-Robinson will get claimed? Because you're doing more national stuff. And I think even though what you've seen hasn't been great,
I say he will because he started games in this league.
Yeah. I think he's legitimately one of the best 96 quarterbacks in the world. That's how I look at it.
That's how I look at it. That's how I view Tanner McKee. I'm like, Tanner McKee's one of the best 32 quarterbacks in football.
Yeah, I agree with that too. But, I would say bottom 5, 27 to 32.
But that's one of the best 32.
Yeah.
He's better than Tyler Shuck and Spencer Rattler.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is. Where are you with Tanner McKee, though? Overall, because I get this, like, we were getting into discussion with Anthony Richardson, and my thought is, like, that guy's got amazing talent. Who has
got
done
upside? By the way, the Colts did that guy so dirty, dirty.
Yeah, I mean, my thought, if we were, and I don't know who brought it up, and I'd give him credit if I remembered, but they were saying if you could get Anthony Richardson for a 6th-round pick or something, and I don't know if Indy would do that, but obviously.
Wasn't it Orlovsky that said that? Like, the Eagles, and like, he mentioned like 10 teams. The Eagles just happen to be one of them.
I mean, I'd do it. Would you do it?
I think I'd
bring that guy in?
I think I'd do it and develop him.
That's what I mean. I mean, they brag about their developmental skills.
I trade a 6th-round pick and just make him third quarterback this year, and then you move on for Tanner McKee. Yeah. They've done that before.
That's what I would take a swing on that guy.
I mean, Marcus Mariota, they let walk out the door and they traded for Kenny Pickett.
Yeah, they're always rotating, and now I do think they, if the best case scenario, they have Tanner, at a cost-effective rate, and hopefully he doesn't have to play, but I think he could get you through a game or two. But if the catastrophe happens and they had to play a whole season with Tanner McKee, with this supporting cast, which is very good, obviously, I think the Eagles could be a playoff team, but it would be, 9 and 8-ish, 7th seed.
Yeah, you're not. Jalen makes them the Super Bowl contender.
Yes.
Tanner is. I'm trying to think of a good comparison here in NFL history. Just trying to think of like that mid quarterback. John Kitna. There you go.
Yeah. There
John
we go.
Kitna.
Now, if so, in that scenario, so we're talking about catastrophe, which you don't want to talk about, but season-ending injury, and he's got to play the majority of a season. I think there's about. I think Nick Foles sort of broke a lot of people in Philadelphia.
No,
I
he
think
definitely
people
broke a
forget.
lot of people in
I
Philadelphia.
think people forget Nick Foles had a nice run, a phenomenal run, an all-time run. I've always compared him to Vinnie Johnson getting hot as the old microwave, for the Detroit Pistons. But over the long haul, you wanted Isaiah Thomas, the all-star, the Hall of Famer. But if Vinnie Johnson was hot on a particular day, you wanted that guy for one game, but he couldn't do it consistently. Do you think Tanner McKee's closer to being a legitimate, consistent starting quarterback in this league, or being the guy who gets hot for a couple, 2 or 3 game stretch?
I still think he needs a little bit more development, but I think if he could start for a couple teams in this league, I don't know how well he'd fare. I still think he needs to develop a bit, but I liked what I saw out of him this camp. I liked what I saw out of him this preseason. I saw enough where if someone would press to me and say, okay, could Tanner McKee start for your football team? Yes. Could Tanner McKee start 16 games for your football team? I don't know if I want that. But, and again, I'm literally going to watch Daniel Jones do it for the Indianapolis Colts this year. So, and I think Tanner McKee's better than him.
What do you think of Daniel Jones?
It's a
Poor
joke.
Shane Steichen, man.
It's a joke.
Boy, that's a bad position to be in.
I am told this by Giants people all the time. Daniel Jones will win that job because Daniel Jones is a great practice player.
Yeah, he's a smart guy. I've heard a lot of things about Daniel Jones, and one thing everybody, and he went to Duke. It makes sense,
Yeah.
I mean, smart guy, but I don't know.
He's gonna last a long time in the league because he's a smart guy.
Yeah, something's missing. Obviously, he's a good athlete too. He's a really good athlete, but something's missing, whether it comes to processing or things like that, when the real bullets are flying. But
my issue with the Colts right now is, like, I think they're really using Anthony Richardson tapping himself out of the game last year as the reason why they don't want him to be their quarterback.
Boy, I don't understand it from the perspective of when you drafted that kid at, what was it, number 4 overall?
Number 4 overall.
Like, it's baked in that he's a developmental guy. You're taking a chance. You have to understand, all right, he's very raw, but he's got
barely played in college.
Yeah. But he's got this ridiculous top end level ceiling, and you're going to go through these growing pains. That to me is more of a Chris Ballard problem than a Shane Steichen
I am
problem.
so tired of Chris Ballard. You want me to go on a crusade for the next guy I want fired? That's the guy. He should have been fired.
I can't believe he hasn't been fired.
I can't believe he hasn't either. Like, what? I can't even tell you who owns the Colts anymore because Irsay's passed. Is it the kid?
Well, his kids. Yeah, his kids.
Yeah.
He's got.
Hopefully they change stuff around because Chris Ballard is not a good GM.
He's got a couple daughters. I don't know who's taken over, but yeah, Shane's in a bad spot. I have a feeling Shane's going to be back here as a consultant by the end of the season.
He's going to be with Joe Douglas.
Yeah, Joe Douglas on the.
Who would have thought Jonathan Gann would outlast Shane when they both got hired?
I mean, I think they were both in a similar situation. I think they're.
But I feel like the Cardinals are more patient with Jonathan Gannon.
Well, I think he's got to produce this year.
I do too.
think he's in trouble if they have a bad season.
But they have 8-9 wins. He sticks. He'll be around.
As long as he's in the conversation, I think he sticks. Well, Jonathan's a people person, man.
Yeah,
he's going to win you over. I always say, and people used to make, because we were pretty close when he was here, but and I used to tell Jonathan Gannon will win you over in 5 minutes if you meet him. So all these Eagles fans that disliked him for whatever reason, I guarantee you they'd be big fans if they met him for 5 minutes.
I'm telling you, they wanted to prove they were right about him, and they used that Super Bowl as a mentality.
Yeah, I mean, I think people forget that they had the number 2 defense that year, right?
They were the first team in NFL history going into a Super Bowl to score 30 points in each game and allow fewer than 10 in each playoff game.
Yeah. So they had a good season defensively that year.
Oh, by the way, Eagles fans will never admit this. The Chiefs were really freaking good in 2022. They were.
Yeah, but the Eagles outplayed them, so I get the standpoint. I mean, the Eagles should have beat them in that Super Bowl.
Well, they should have. And, I've talked to enough people in the Chiefs that, look, the field was slick for them too, but they admit it was slick.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely helped the Chiefs, definitely hindered the Eagles pass rush.
And they said the same thing, like it hindered the Eagles more than it hindered them.
Yeah, which was historic that year, by the way.
Yes, and that's why.
That was the 70 sack year. Which Philadelphia fans like nothing more than sacks.
Yeah, but they hate Jonathan Gannon.
Yeah, bizarre.
I still, for the life of me, maybe it's because of the era I grew up in where the Eagles were just not that good. I can't get over the Super Bowl loss in 2022. I can, because they won in 17 and they went in 04. I can get over the Super Bowl. I watch Super Bowl 39 a lot because of the missed opportunities, but I can get over 22. Maybe because I covered that team. I don't know. But look, Eagles did enough to lose that game in 22.
Uh-oh.
Oh, he's back.
We'll see. We got a weird conjunction on a 3-man. What do I got to go? There we go.
I got it.
Zander Krause.
I don't know if my internet's very good. Can you hear me?
I can
hear you.
Yeah.
So we got Zander Krause out in the back by phone. Back in the mix.
Man, what a dedicated employee.
Well, it's
all right. That Jeff Kerr helping me get through it. So I've kept Jeff too late. He's got to go transcribe. So at Jeff Kerr CBS, make sure you follow Jeff on the X platform. Read him. CBS Sports, not only there, CBS Philadelphia for his Phillies coverage.
By the way, Zander, I forgot to tell you why I'm not such a curmudgeon this morning, outside of training camp being over.
What's that, Jeff?
Okay, well, one, the Phillies have the same record at this point as they do last year, which I love to point out. Two, I just shot 765 in bowling last night, so I'm gonna be in a good mood after I shoot that.
I don't even know how bowling.
I don't even know what that means. 765.
Well, the highest you can shoot is 900. So
well, yeah, all right. So it's 3 games, 300.
I averaged 250 through 3 games.
All right, there we get our bowling. We get our. I always ask you this, and I always forget it. Who's the famous bowler that?
Pete Weber.
Well, no, not Pete. The guy who's like sort of Bill Murray come to life. The guy who does all the weird stuff, more recent. So Bill Murray and Kingpin.
Kyle Troop's a weird guy. I don't think it's him though.
He has these outrageous celebrations. No, it's not resonating.
I mean, there are a couple guys that have outrageous celebrations on the PBA tour. I probably bowled against some of them.
All right. You're bragging now, PBA tour level.
No, they just bowl in the USBC Open the same time I do. They kick my ass.
Yeah.
There's a reason why I'm sitting here.
What's Bill Murray's name in Kingpin?
Oh God, I haven't seen Kingpin in years.
That's an underrated.
It's a great movie. Yeah, I keep forgetting. See, this is what happens, John. So you and I like to quote the other guys a lot. That was on yesterday.
Yeah, that's an underrated great movie.
That got me through my day.
Yeah. So now I have to look up Bill Murray's name in Kingpin. Ernie McCracken.
There it is. Yeah, Bernie McCracken.
Ernie McCracken. Yeah. So I thought it was
Bernie McCracken. Maybe I've been wrong.
Ernie McCracken. So that's where we are. Did we lose Zander again?
I think we lost Zander again. I'll stick on for a little bit.
All right. Now he's back.
There we go. I'm back.
What'd you leave on the Wi-Fi? That's always a problem with me.
I'm on the phone. No, the Wi-Fi's down. That's why I can't get on my computer. They're redoing.
By the way,
Knob and Tube.
if you leave your phone on Wi-Fi and try to get on StreamYard, then you'll drive by somebody's house and you'll pick up their Wi-Fi or pick up some public Wi-Fi.
Yeah. All right, you want me to get Jeff out of here? Jeff, thanks for doing it, brother. Sorry for the dropout.
No, you're fine, Zander. Hey, when the electrician comes, he comes. I got to deal with it all the time. It's fine.
I appreciate it. Jeff, just leave for me because I can't pull you off the screen, but I can adjust our graphic from here. So
all right, boys.
Just check out when you're done. I appreciate you, Jeff.
See you guys.
All right, thanks, bud.
Jeff Curry joining us here on Birds 365. Johnny Mack, look at this, from the phone to close out the Thursday edition of the show. Hopefully you can hear me and see me all right. You're cutting out.
We've had some issues. I was having some issues for a while that magically seem to have fixed themselves. I've done nothing. They magically seem to have fixed themselves. These are not issues. This was not really out of our control issue. They were redoing the electric here on Tuesday, which is when my power went out after Tuesday morning show. And then they said they're coming back Thursday, but they won't have to cut the power because all they have to do is get the knob and tube, the last two pieces of knob and tube out. And the knob and tube that they had to get out is evidently what the Wi-Fi and my computer were plugged into. So that's down completely right now, and I got no hope to get up other than the phone, brother. So I'm on the porch, and we'll close out. All right, we're fighting through. It's been one of those things. Hopefully it went well. I'm glad for everybody sticking around as we figure this stuff out. But yeah, I guess preseason game number 3 lasted the necessary evil, then the cut down to 53, and then we're off and running for the Dallas Cowboys week 1, which again I think bodes very well for the Eagles because they're still not working things out with Micah Parsons. Just that show I tried to start watching. I told you when we were on.
I want to watch it. The Cowboys show.
Yeah, the Cowboys show is now live on Netflix. I tried to start watching it, but I didn't get very far yesterday. Should be interesting. But I think it's more of not now. It's more of like sort of a history of Jerry Jones' stewardship of the Cowboys. So you're going to see a lot of good stuff early with, Troy Aikman and Michael Irvin, Emmitt Smith, Jimmy Johnson, and then the turn. Barry Switzer's on it, and then you get the turn to what they've become, which is, Jerry Jones messing it all up, basically.
What do you think the Cowboys are going to be this year?
Mediocre. I think they'll be in the conversation to be that last playoff team for most of the season. But I think they're not terrible. I think they're slightly above average. But I think this has been for many years now. This has been a 2-horse division race, and it was for many years. It was the Eagles and the Cowboys. Now it's the Eagles and the Commanders, pretty clearly.
Yeah,
and then the have-nots are the Cowboys and the Giants.
Now, how much changes though if the Commanders do end up trading Terry McLaurin?
Well, a lot, but I don't think they will. We have to see how it works out. I do know Debo, who I was not very high on, and I think is a little bit overrated. He's had a good camp from everyone down there I've talked to. So maybe he's got a little bit of pep in the step trying to resuscitate his career. So maybe that helps a little bit. But I do think they need Terry McLaurin. So that would change things for me, at least somewhat. With the Cowboys, still got the issues in the backfield. Not sure they're going to have a running game. I think they're better at receiver. Tight end's pretty good. Offensive line is sort of a work in progress. We'll see how Tyler Booker plays. And then defensively, I mean, if they don't have Micah Parsons for week 1, first of all, Jerry Jones should resign at that point. But, they're just not the same.
I feel like Michael will play.
I think he'll play too because Jerry, that's what he does. And then he'll ante up at the last minute. But the guy who plays hasn't, been doing stuff. So even though he's a great player, you still need some ramp up time, which we talked about. So defensively, I think they have some issues. I do think they'll be better from Matt Eberflus being the coordinator. Again, not a great coach, but a good coordinator. So they'll play a lot of cover too, I presume now. Change. So they'll look a little bit different from what the Eagles are used to seeing from the Cowboys.
Yeah, I agree. NFC East going to be interesting this year with those Commanders coming. I mean, I do think the Commanders are pretty good, but John, why does it feel to me like people are just putting the cart before the horse with them? Like, I like Jaden Daniels. I'm not saying I don't like the player. I think he's a very special player, but really, like, I'm hearing people crown this guy as
Well,
a
they
top
made the
five
NFC
after one
Championship
season.
game. They made the NFC Championship game.
They did.
And I'm not tooting my own horn, but I said they weren't ready for that spot right on our pregame show. I
Yes,
go,
you
they
did.
shouldn't be in this game. And they got boat raced. They weren't as good as Detroit, and they beat Detroit, but we all know why they beat Detroit, if you're being real. Not their fault. They took advantage of a situation, but I mean, Detroit at full speed would have destroyed them. They're not as good as the Rams. They weren't as good as the Vikings. Arguably, they were the 5th best team in the NFC last year. And because of circumstance, they made it to the NFC Championship game. So I think a lot of people say, well, year 2, Jaden Daniels is going to get better and better. And Jaden Daniels is a player I've loved and I've spoken about, and he should have been the number 1 pick. And I think he's a superstar. So from that standpoint, everybody's excited because the quarterback is so good. But yeah, I'm with you. They made the NFC Championship game, and people overrate that because they don't look at the context of why they made the NFC Championship.
Right.
And again, not their fault. They took advantage of it. But I think as the game unfolded, it was proven that they did not belong in that game. And I do think people are skipping some steps with them. But so that's one part of it. But the other part is I think they're a good team and a good ascending team. And they're going to be difficult to deal with for a long time now that they have Jaden Daniels.
Yeah, no, I agree. John, what do you think of the NFC North coming into this year? I mean, they're an interesting division. They were one of the best divisions in football last year. I think the Bears are ascending, who knows to what level. The Lions are still really good, but they lost 2 coordinators. The Packers, I don't know. I'm losing faith completely that Jordan Love is a good player. I don't really know what to make of him. I know he's got the skill
Well, I think
set.
he's
don't know
a
if he's ever
good
gonna go.
player, but he's not a great player. I think he's good.
Well,
Yeah,
what do you
he's
think of
just
that
got it.
division?
Well, I mean, Detroit is still the best team. I mean, they have the most talent. Arguably, they're right there with the Eagles for most talented roster. Obviously, they'll be healthier on defense. We got to see what Aiden Hutchinson looks like. We got to see if Alim McNeil is back and when he gets back. The linebacker, the secondary's off the charts. If Terrion Arnold can figure it out, which he didn't have a great rookie season, but Kirby Joseph was one of the best safeties in football. Brian Branch is a tremendous player. DJ Reed they got is a good player. And if Terrion Arnold can figure it out, obviously he's got a ton of talent. All of a sudden their defense is now they lost both coordinators, so that's concerning, especially offensively. But they're still the most talented team in the NFC North. The Vikings are right there from a talent standpoint, but we don't know what J.J. McCarthy is, bottom line. If he's good, they're going to be good.
He might be good. I don't know. I kind of like Kevin O'Connell with him. I don't know. Kevin O'Connell seems to have a good knack for young.
Well, he's the guy that everybody wants to work with in the NFL as from the quarterback position. So if he lives up to his reputation and J.J. McCarthy is good, they're going to be one of the best teams in the NFC. Because they might have the best defense, although I don't know why they traded Harrison Phillips. It seems like they're moving cap money to do something else. So we'll see if there's a second shoe to drop. But he's a good player. I don't understand that trade in a vacuum. But they're a very gifted, very talented team. But there's so much uncertainty at the quarterback position. Green Bay is just good. They're not great, but they're good. And then there's so much uncertainty with Chicago. I think they'll be better, but I can't put them in the category with 3 other teams in that division. Still a good division.
Are you sticking with one of your earlier discussions that we've had about you think the Commanders are going to win the East? Is that how you're feeling now post training camp as well, or what?
Well, I haven't really, because I've been hyper focused on the Eagles. I haven't seen what's going on in Washington other than some of the McLaurin stuff. I do think, just from a general perspective of the Eagles' schedule, the difficulty coming off the short off season. They had a short off season as well, going all the way to the championship game. But the history of the NFC East, I think the difference in the schedule gives the Commanders an advantage. I think the Eagles aren't going to win 14 games again. I think they'll go down to 12-ish. And I think the Commanders were at 12 and they'll be at 12. So it'll come down to somewhere in that range. It'll come down to the 2 games against each other. And I'm just betting on history, so that's why I picked Washington. But they're both going to be in the playoffs, I think. But I'll stick with Washington.
I think the Eagles I still feel good about the Eagles winning the NFC East. John, the preseason game tomorrow night, man, final one. There's got to be a couple names, John, out there that are worth watching. Who do you think do you think the fringe guys are going to play? Do you think you said Trotter might not play? Do you think Campbell will play? Do you think Keele Ringo and Jacorian Bennett will play? Like, who do you think plays in this game, and then who do you think doesn't? It might be none of them.
Well, I think like Darius Cooper's a player that a lot of people are interested in to talk. Like, if he doesn't play, that's good news for Darius Cooper. That's really good news for Darius.
Really good, yeah.
Campbell will play, but Chance Campbell, not Jihad Campbell. The new linebacker they signed is named Chance Campbell.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for a Campbell, look for Chance. I don't think Jihad's going to play. Ringo, he's probably Ringo's not going to play. Sorry, that's because of his quad injury. He probably would play if he was healthy. I do think Bennett will play. Guys like that. Some guys have to play. I mean, it's just a numbers game to get through the game.
Right.
Obviously,
you got to have enough guys out there to finish a football game.
Yeah. The Eli Rickses of the world, DeAndre Sams, Tristan McCullums of the world, they're probably going to play the second, guys in line to be second teamers. Uche's hurt now, so he probably won't play. I think Ojulari has to play. I think Obo has to play. Obviously, Ty Robinson's going to play. Byron Young, people like that. Second team offensive line will be something to keep an eye on. Running backs, I don't think Will's going to play. Will Shipley. I doubt A.J. Dillon's going to play, so it'll probably be a Montrell Johnson, Shunderick Powell game. And then wide receivers, I mentioned the biggest key is Darius Cooper going to play? If he does, he's probably, they're probably still debating. If he doesn't, he's probably made the team.
Right.
So there's something to keep an eye on.
I agree. It's going to be interesting to see this game. Oh, not really. Not that interesting, but I am curious to see who maybe goes above that demarcation line. I'm not sure. Maybe some of them will. Maybe some of them won't. John, your week 1 cornerback, you think it's going to be Adoree'?
Yeah, I don't know if there's enough time to get Bennett up to speed. Seems like Ringo's out of the conversation. So I do think early in the season, it's probably likely to be Adoree' Jackson. And if he plays tomorrow, that's a bad sign for Adoree'. I don't think he's going to play. So, and I think he's played pretty well recently, that he's gotten all the first team reps pretty much, or the vast majority over the past couple days. I think he's started to settle down. So maybe he's the type of guy that needs more reps and I think he'll be fine. It's not going to be Darius Slay, but I think he'll be fine. Just more of a keep the ball in front of him type of corner.
What's your general feeling on Keele Ringo at this point, John? Like, do you think Is he just a special teams guy? Do you think he has the upside to be a corner? I mean, he was a guy that you were kind of high on because of what A.J. Brown had talked to you about, but he just hasn't done it, John. I mean, I'm losing hope in the player or thoughts that he
Well,
could
you
become
have
a big
to, you
player
have
in this
to,
league.
you have to do it. I mean, obviously the Eagles are too. The Eagles wanted him to be the starting quarterback.
Right.
Let's be honest. That's what they wanted, and he didn't get it done. I mean, ultimately, this is a performance-based league, and he didn't get it done in this opportunity. So, yeah, it's disappointing. Maybe he ends up his rookie career here as just a special teams player. Right now, I see a guy who's got to have his confidence rebuilt, number one. And maybe down the road, due to injuries or circumstance or something else, he gets another opportunity and maybe he learns from it. But right now, it doesn't look good. And you hope it doesn't affect his special teams play because he's a legitimately good special teams player. But if you lose your confidence in one aspect, you might lose your confidence in all aspects. So something to keep an eye on.
No doubt about it, John. Good stuff there. I'm curious to see about Ringo. I almost feel for the guy, but he's still really young, John. That's why people are like, he's too young, but you're 3, dude. You know what I mean? Like you've been saying, you kind of got to shit or get off the pot here with Keele Ringo. It doesn't look great for him, but we'll see.
No, yeah. I mean, this was his chance. This was his opportunity. And looks like he fumbled it, to be honest. And they're shifting gears in another direction. So, I always use the GPS example. They had their GPS program to Keele Ringo, and they didn't get there. So it's like your Wi-Fi; it's short-circuited. They're getting there with Campbell. They're getting there with Makuba. It might be halted by the injuries, but they're getting there.
Right.
With Ringo, they're not getting there.
Got a couple super chats, John. I might need you to help me pull them up. I can get this one. I think we had one more. Worst says, Big Z on the right side. What the F is going on? Well, I got booted off my internet, Worst, so I'm here on my phone from the porch trying to make it happen. That's probably why. John, if you go in the comments in the starred section, you could find the other super chats. There might be one above Worst I think we missed.
We got a couple from JD. Did we put this one up?
I don't know. Click them. I'll tell you if we
see.
put it up.
Y'all get Harrison. He's going to get. Yeah, he's upset about. He's upset about. And then he took a shot at Jeff Kerr. Would be a bowling guy. He's built like a bowling pin. Come on.
Yeah, come on, JD3.
Yeah, and then we got the Big Z on the right side. So, yeah, come on. Yeah, don't take it. Yeah, look, we all warned you, JD3. That's your fault. It's your fault.
Are you saying he's holding a grudge based on
yes,
the
clearly.
happenings of Harris and Bryant?
There's no collusion. Kylan Granson was better. EJ Jenkins was better. But Howie did him a favor, and I think Brevin Jordan was the one who tore his ACL down there. So he's got a chance to play. And I do think he's an NFL player, but he's the 5th tight end on this team. So he's going to get cut. They made a deal to get a player who looks like he's going to make the team. It's just good football sense by Howie Roseman.
Yep, I agree. Johnny Mac, good show today, man. We had a good one until I got dropped off, and now my head's in the weeds a little bit on it. But just recapping the last 5 minutes to go here, John. Training camp is officially done. How's it compared to previous years? Do you get any different sense about the team after camp this year as compared to last year? We had one question yesterday, John, of can you try and get John to compare how he feels now as compared to how he did at the end of camp last year, which obviously turned into be a Super Bowl season? I think it's probably hard to do that, but just your kind of thoughts from that perspective.
Yeah, I don't think it's the same. It's hard to do because last year they were coming off the collapse. This year they're the Super Bowl champions. So, expectations are a thing, and they're different this year. They're the Super Bowl champions. They're the team that everybody regards as the best team in football for the most part. People and the trolls who hate the Eagles might feel differently. But the vast majority of people think the Eagles are the best team in football this year. They didn't think that last year. So it's kind of hard from the expectations. I do remember at the end of last year saying, I think the defense is going to be a lot better with Vic Fangio. I didn't think they were going to be number one, but I know I felt more confidence in the defense coming off that collapse, a lot more confidence. And, I had some concerns about the offense from the perspective of Kellen Moore coming in from outside the organization. Remember what the talk was, emotion and creativity. And I was like, you're not getting that. And there was a little bit more to start, and then it just generally cleared back. And clearly Kellen Moore wanted to do more of that stuff. But it kind of fell back into what the Eagles offense is. Now I think the assumption should be that the Eagles offense is going to look like the Eagles offense no matter who the coordinator is, because they're building it around the strengths of the quarterback, and that's what they should do. So I think the Eagles are just good on offense. It's just a matter of how good. Defensively, a lot more uncertainty. But that's coming off the Super Bowl, not coming off week one. So it's kind of hard to gauge, because the expectations were different coming into last year. This year, they're number one, and everybody wants to stay at.
Right.
Everybody wants them to stay at number one.
Where did they have which defense did they have more turnover on? It feels like they had more turnover on the defense that was good than the defense that sucked.
Well, you're talking about last year's turnover?
Last year's, yeah.
I mean, well, the rookies were new, and Zach was new. CJ was brought back, but they had a history. Yeah, everybody else was pretty much. Everybody was pretty much there. Like, okay, CJ was new, but you already knew he could play.
Right, there wasn't a question mark there. It's not like Ringo or Sidney or Makuba where you don't know yet what they're going to be.
You never expect rookies to perform like Quinion and Cooper did, so that was a surprise. Obviously, Zach Bond was a surprise. And Nakobe was a surprise. He had been here, but he had never played like that, nor stayed healthy for that amount of time until he did get hurt in playoffs. So there was a lot of uncertainty last year, but I don't know. I felt better about those individual players than I feel about this group of individual players in the conversation, in the uncertainty conversation. If that makes sense. So yeah, could Azeez Ojulari turn into the next Zach Bond, but at edge rusher? So. I guess so, but I'm not counting.
I don't think so, John.
Can Jihad and Makuba play at the same level as Quinion and Cooper? I guess so. I doubt it. Can you replace the playmaking skill of CJ Gardner-Johnson? I doubt it, but maybe that's addition by subtraction,
right.
From the other stuff. And then Josh Sweat and Milt Williams and Brandon Graham, don't even mention him. And Isaiah Rodgers and Oren Burks. Did we know what Isaiah Rodgers was going to be coming off the suspension? No,
but I felt like we thought he had upside, because he was a decent player in Indianapolis before the suspension. I don't think we expected him to be that good, though.
No, and we didn't expect Oren Burks to hit a home run and when he came in. So, I mean, you can talk yourself into things. That's the NFL. I say it all the time. You can talk yourself into things. Well, I didn't know what Oren Burks was be, so maybe Trotter's that. All right. You can talk yourself into that. She's probably got a bigger upside. Bennett, hey, he runs a 4.3 just like Rodgers. Maybe he's the new Rodgers. I don't know. Who's the new Slay? Who's the new Sweat?
I don't think we have them. The cornerback, too, I'm concerned about. I thought Jeff brought up a good point, actually, earlier, though, about where they might be good enough at the rest of the defense, John, to mask some of that more than we're thinking. Linebackers are great. Defensive line's pretty good. Edge, we don't know. I think the edge is probably a really fair concern. But how much can Vic's defense kind of mask those deficiencies, I think is going to be another storyline.
Well, that's what Vic's best at. So
Yeah, right.
I think you're well prepared from a coordinator standpoint. And then, I might be the only one. I'm not in love with Jalen Carter's training camp from a conditioning standpoint and things like that. So
yeah. We'll see how it shakes out. Johnny Mac, 10 a.m. show is done and dusted, brother. You can check out of here. I should be good to close it up on my side. Let me see if I can do it. Yeah, I'll be good to close it up on my side, John. Your final thoughts on today's Thursday edition of Birds 365?
got one more. Tomorrow we'll have Rick Saratella. So he was down at camp scouting. So that'll be some interesting intel from Rick, hopefully. And Chris Franklin at later. So talk about the Jets game if we have to. I guess we have to. And then I'll be off to MetLife Stadium after the show. So
yeah,
long day tomorrow, but at least we don't have a show Saturday, so I don't have to get home at 3 a.m. and get up and do a show on Saturday.
Yeah. All right, Johnny Mac. Good stuff, brother. We will talk to you tomorrow morning on a Football Friday edition of Birds 365. Thank you, brother.
All right. Thanks, everybody.
All right, John. Drop yourself off because I don't think I can do it from my end.
All right. I'm leaving.
All right. There goes Johnny Mac. See you, Johnny Mac. It is now Zander on Zander time, live from the porch. I hope my connection is good. Can you guys? I don't know if I can see the comments. That's my problem right now. I can't really see the comments. They only show me like one at a time. See if I can put these on the screen, and then maybe I'll be able to see them better. Just let me know if you guys can see me and hear me well. Right now, it appears that I'm clear on the screen, but Jason 18 says you good. All right, Jason. Thank you, brother. Let me try and put the comments on the screen. How about this look at Big Z? What do you think? What do you think, folks? Cape May got some trash-ass Wi-Fi. It's not Cape May, Abe. They're redoing the knob and tube. I told you this. Look, where are my electricians? See this knob and tube up there, folks? See that? That's a piece of knob and tube. There's 2 more pieces of knob and tube right there. All right. I'm at the Cape May house. Let me see if the internet holds up. Let me see if this internet holds up. I can't read your comments, so I'm just kind of trolling. I'm gonna entertain you guys as much as I can. I can't read these damn comments. Who wants to see the Big Z having knob and tube? It's not my house, Devin. It's a family house, and this house was built in 1870. All you nerds. Look, who wants to see? Shout out to Anzalone. All right. Shout out to Anzalone. All right. I told you guys I wasn't lying. These guys booted me off. Blame Anzalone. All right. But who wants to see the C8 parked in the rain? I can't believe my internet's holding this good. Oh. Am I still good? Cold start. I don't have my key. Look, there it is. She's sitting there pretty. Right in the streets of Cape May. Right in the streets of Cape May, across the street. All right, let me get inside and see if I can close this thing up. I don't know how to end the show right now because I'm not on my damn computer. All right, let me get in. Let me get back inside. See if I can figure this thing out. Knob and Tube sounds like a British company. I'm not even going to say that. All right, let me see if I can get in here and end this. All right, folks. We are in. All right, guys. Appreciate you all watching today. Sorry my internet sucked. I'll get it back up for tomorrow. They should be done in there. So I think it's going to come back on in just a little bit, and then I'll be good for the National Football Show later today, and should be good for tomorrow. I didn't think I was going to get knocked off today. They told me they didn't think I was going to get knocked off, but the thing that my computer and my laptop or my Wi-Fi were plugged into were toasted, where they were on the knob and tube that I just showed you guys. So let me check out of here. Appreciate y'all watching. Hit that like button. See you next time, everybody.